can't believe we're back here yet again. It was 6 short months ago when we ventured into WTFville with the 90+ players T-Tribe mass ban fiasco, firmly placing Snail Games and Wildcard in the doghouse, although some would argue that they've always been there. Yeah, fair enough. But I had a sliver of hope that we wouldn't be hitching a return ticket on this nightmare so damn soon. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's LtBuzzLitebeer, and today it's all about keeping it real, which in this case means it's time to drop the hammer on what is happening with Ark Surival Ascended, Snail Games, and Wildcard, which we're going to get into in just a moment. But first, hold that thought because it's time to join D&D Legends with today's sponsor, Dragonair Silent Gods. Check in the video description for a link to download the game, and you know, with a name like mine, we're going to go with a race that draws extra power from drinking. Dragonair is a strategy game pitting your heroes up against incredibly powerful foes like this beastie, did he eat the last layer too? Explore and clear different areas like the Blood Sacrifice Pool, Corruption Cliff, and the Cobweb of Death. And there's even a sweet collaboration with D&D, including a new hero complete with his own storyline, and even more coming through future seasons. Even a new map, which are all live now, as they came out November the 17th. And all without a cryptic dungeon master. Dragonair has over 10 million downloads worldwide, and is free to download on Steam, the Epic Game Store, Mac, and Android and iPhone. If you're interested, click my link in the video description to download the game, and thank you to Dragonair for supporting the channel. Alright, back to it, and Ark Surival Ascended is currently in the midst of a plague, the likes of which we never saw in Ark Survival Evolved. I mean, we saw it, but never on this scale, and it has gotten to downright biblical proportions. And it was all kicked into high gear last week when the Xbox and Windows versions of ASA went live. You see, prior to that, cheating in Ark Surival Ascended PvP was mostly limited to players using the console commands to disable all-terrain, which are still in the game, giving players the ability to remove everything from their screens, rocks, trees. I do mean everything except dinos and base fortifications, which in itself is a crazy amount of information to receive. Even if everything else I'm going to show you in this video wasn't in the game, the fact that with a console command you can gain that much intel about where everything is located is ludicrous. Why commands haven't been disabled for PvP is insane, and since Ark Surival Ascended's launch is a solution we haven't seen brought forward from Wildcard. But that's not even close to the full extent of what's going on with Ark PvP, because with the Xbox and Windows launch of Ark Surival Ascended, PvP has now sunk to a new level of rot. Now, I haven't seen issues with Xbox players per se. I'm not saying they don't exist, just that I haven't seen much from that cross-section of players. The real issue lies with Windows, which was launched simultaneously with Xbox, as they are both Microsoft. Now, as someone that owns and plays Ark Surival Ascended on Steam, if I want to enter an official server, I have to agree to allow BattlEye to monitor my gameplay. I guess to detect hacks and cheats, which makes perfect sense, although I never fully trust these cheat detection programs because there are always companies out there making better cheats to get around them, and there are always scrubs out there that are willing to plop down good hard-earned money to buy those cheats to use and grief against other players. Also, the other option I have is to select no BattlEye anti-cheat, which is for unofficial servers only. Continuing on with this conversation, and the major issue is found with the Windows version of Ark Surival Ascended because, and hear me out, as stupid as this sounds, and I can't believe I'm saying this, these players that bought and own the Windows version of Ark Surival Ascended have no anti-cheat built into their game. Zero. Think about that. Wildcard launched the Windows version, so that's the PC version through Microsoft with no anti-cheat. In simple terms, they gave the inmates the keys and then let them have free reign on the freaking game. How incompetent, and furthermore, how irresponsible do you have to be to do something like this? Like I said earlier, back when ASA launched on Steam, besides those console commands, it was pretty stable, excluding multi-grouping on small tribe servers, which is another kettle of fish. But now, with Windows players unleashed on official servers, on PC, with zero anti-cheat, and able to play on cross-play servers, it has turned Ark into a shit show for PvP. A quick search on YouTube and you're going to see these cheat advertisements flying up all over the freaking place. Join this Discord over here, and then they show clips of themselves using the latest and greatest cheat software. You've got things like radar, speed hacks for not only the player, but their dinos as well, of course, aimbot, god mode players flying around the map attacking everyone while still being invincible. Oh, how about a teleporting titanosaur? You guessed it, we've seen that one too. Now, I didn't have enough time to grab all the clips, but I've been speaking with dedicated Ark PvP players kind of behind the scenes, and they are all confirming what a mess it is. I also saw an example of a single speed hacking player raiding an entire base solo, completely unkillable, and by the way, on foot. They just charged into this base and nuked all the turrets and ravaged every single tame in the blink of an eye. I've heard about players shooting through cover like it didn't exist. I've seen and heard stories of speed Quetzals terrorizing entire bases, unkillable and flying around at Mach 10. And here's where Wildcard comes into the fold, because besides releasing Ark Surival Ascended with no anti-cheat for Windows PC, which I've already mentioned is entirely irresponsible, their ticket reporting mechanism, which is on the surface designed to give players the means to protect themselves by submitting video proof of players using cheats on open servers in order to get them banned, is currently a reported 600 tickets backlogged. Tickets are being sent over and no response is received for days, if at all, and in many cases the tickets seem to be expiring due to inactivity. PvP players are actively calling out GM Otter over on the Ark official Discord, who apparently spearheads this department for Wildcard, because there seems to be a real lack of motivation to do anything about the cheater issue. Hod recently posted a video speaking out against this very issue and again raised the question of Snail Games and could they be involved in the manipulation of this cheater plague. Is Snail actively putting their finger on the scales of justice and not allowing Wildcard to adequately police this issue? I mean, that's an excellent question I can't definitively answer for you right now, but you would think that with such a rampant issue, Wildcard would be all over it, actively pushing out notices to the community, implementing hardcore server protections and permabans for cheaters, and we aren't seeing any of this. Now, as I said, and again using Hod as an example, he has personally submitted multiple tickets that have either been met with silence or some sort of canned corporate response that there's not enough video proof in the videos he submits for Wildcard to ban the suspected cheaters. And as a former super competitive PvP player and a gamer, hear me out, because you may be out there on your official PvE only server thinking out loud, Buzz, why should I care about PvP? I don't play it, it doesn't matter to me. But the thing is, it should. You may never step foot in a PvP server, and that's okay, but what a lot of players don't realize is that each facet of this game affects the other. There are server changes and game modifications that are tried out in PvP-only areas, and then will eventually trickle into PvE as well, and vice versa. They need each other. They feed off of each other. And if you think that you're safe out there on your official PvE-only server, think again, because griefing is universal. It's only a matter of time before these cheaters infect PvE as well. Speed running to the best base spots, one tap, and they're able to mine every piece of metal on the entire mountain, or whatever else they can do to screw with the servers. I know it sounds stupid, and it is, but this is how some people derive fun from playing games. I've also seen public arguments that if the hackers are on official, then just play unofficial. And on paper, yeah, I guess that sounds like an easy solution, but you need to understand what makes PvP so addictive and so awesome. It's that feeling of danger, of randomness, thinking on your feet and adjusting to new circumstances. Official servers give you that and can be great when everything is working properly. which they are not, which is now firmly on Wildcard. I mean, it's their game and their responsibility. Players are using the mechanism they were given to report these issues, and from all indications, it is falling on deaf ears. Clearly, there is something going on behind the scenes, something that is preventing the issues from being handled. Now, that could be a directive from Snail Games to stay hands off. It could be indifference towards the players and their concerns. It could also be that the department has just one person in it and is severely overwhelmed, but Ark PvP is currently ablaze on a scale we have never seen or experienced in Ark Survival Evolved, and no solution seems to be on the horizon. I tried to keep this one safe for work, but in the back of my mind, every other word of this video felt like it needed to start with the letter F. On a side note, I love PvP. I also love gaming, and seeing players left out there helpless to defend themselves against blatant cheating just really pisses me off. Step up, Wildcard. This is on you. As always, leave me whatever Ark-related feedback you would like, and I will do my best to respond. Remember to hit subscribe and ring the notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts. Likes, comments, shares are, of course, greatly appreciated. All my socials can be found in the video description. Shout out to the now over 181,000 of you that have stuck with me and hit subscribe. And a special thanks goes out to my Patreon supporters and to those of you sending over those much appreciated YouTube super chats. Until the next one, this is LtBuzzLitebeer, signing off.